Hello everyone! I swear I'm not trying to be annoying, but I would once again like to push everyone to read the officials before watching this video if you haven't already. Loki's dialogue in this chapter is very different between the officials and the unofficials, and depending on which one you read, you will have a different interpretation of it. My interpretation comes from the officials. I have once again been assured by Japanese-speaking friends that the officials are much more accurate. So it's just some food for thought. This is just so when I have my own ideas on the chapter, you guys don't wonder where the hell I got them from if you haven't read the officials. Okay? Okay. Chapter 1131 is titled Loki in the Underworld and begins with Luffy having a yap session with Loki. It's interesting, Luffy originally walked towards Loki because he felt a powerful presence, and now he's just chilling on this man's literal body. Loki can't seem to make heads or tails of Luffy as he tells Luffy to shut up, and Loki explains he's been chained for 6 years. Loki tries to make a deal with Luffy about unchaining him, and Luffy doesn't really seem to be listening. Loki isn't shy in telling Luffy that the snowy area is a prison and execution yard, and that those judged to be criminals are dropped here. Personally, I find it interesting he says those judged to be criminals and not just criminals straight up. Before Luffy can really respond to Loki's deal of unchaining him, a bunch of animals pop up that Loki has befriended, along with stinky men? I genuinely have no idea what these guys are or who they're meant to be, but it's interesting that humans are residing on Elbaf. Luffy, being Luffy, also befriends the beasts, even saying, "This takes me back." And Loki, once more, can't seem to understand who Luffy is. Shanks is mentioned by one of the stinky men. Luffy gets excited, and Loki takes the opportunity to call Shanks a coward to get some reaction out of Luffy. The reaction doesn't seem to be what Loki's expecting, as Loki is startled by Luffy being ready to bash his head in, and quickly explains he was just making a joke. Luffy quickly calms down to ask why Shanks even came to find Loki, along with if Shanks is still in Elbaf, and it seems Loki is ready to make another deal. We cut back to the fellow crewmates still in Elbaf, still stuck on the bridge, as Rhodes starts running from behind them, being chased by Girth and Goldberg, one of them holding the Straw Hat's ship. Zoro has a fantastic line here, as he says, "It's cuttin' time," as perfectly silly as I expect him to be. But Usopp stops him in fear of angering the giants, so all the Straw Hats can do is run forward in hopes of reaching Upper Elbaf before they get found out. We cut to Hiruden, currently in Elbaf's underworld, who exclaims he's excited to meet Luffy and the Straw Hats, hence why he's hunting for meat. His shipwright, Stanson, explains they can't use a painter because sunstones don't work in the snow. And I have no idea what this means. Maybe painting yourself with the sunstone makes you stronger? Who knows? I'm totally lost with this. I'm just thinking Pokemon. Finally, we cut back to the other Straw Hat members who are currently sailing into Elbaf. And Robin has cut her hair. Well, Brooke cut her hair, but he did a damn good job. It's explained she did so Saul will remember her. But as Robin sails towards the island, Saul seems to collapse. And that's the end of the chapter. Now, let's get to Robin's fringe, or bangs, for you Americans out there. I'm shocked Oda did this so late in the game, but it's amazing changing up designs like this isn't off the table for him. And aesthetics aside, I believe 3 things are happening here. First of all, Saul. Obviously, that one is even pointed out to us. Second of all, Alabasta. There's already been a few Alabasta parallels or things to remind us of Alabasta, and this is another one. Remember, Vivi has only seen Robin with a fringe, so this will help Vivi recognize Robin too. And finally, self-acceptance. Robin's demon form had a fringe. This was not lost on any of us. And the peace we see on Robin's face in the final page feels more than just happiness to see Saul, but feels like a form of healing. She hadn't changed her hair in years. She was known as a demon and a devil while she had this hair, even personifying it into her devil form. But now she lives without fear. She lives with acceptance of who she is due to who she wants to be. And the Straw Hats have given her back both her right and her love to exist. Oda is incredible at what he does, and design is very important to him. Her piece in the final panel just really solidified this to me. The fact he's given Robin these design changes tells me he's allowing Robin to live in the way she wants to, even if it means going full circle. Now, let's get to Loki. I'm still thinking Loki will not be the evil of this arc, and is not evil at all. Luffy seems to really be vibing with him. There have been many cases of characters being introduced as bad and evil due to word of mouth, such as Zoro, Robin, Jinbe, Law, Kuma, and many others I cannot name right now. Once again, remember that misinformation is a big theme in One Piece, so I am not believing Loki's rumors for a second. And this back and forth between Loki and Luffy, the banter they seem to be having, the way Luffy is very relaxed around Loki, especially with Loki being unable to make sense of Luffy at all. Honestly, I'm getting a lot of Law vibes from this. Yes, I know Law was not destined to bring an end to the world, and I know Loki hasn't saved Luffy's life before, but Law couldn't make sense of Luffy either. Law worked on deals. He worked on give and take, and Loki seems to be doing the same, which is very funny because many people have gotten Doffy vibes from Loki. So interesting to me that Loki seems to have this Doffy appearance and this Law personality. I'm saying all this because I remember how many people thought Law would betray Luffy, but here's the thing. You cannot take advantage of Luffy to the point of betraying him, because you cannot betray Luffy point blank. If Luffy has decided you're a friend, you're a friend. Nothing will change that. If Luffy wants to help you, it's not because he's expecting anything from you. He just wants to help you. I don't know what Luffy's decision will be, but I can't see Luffy unchaining Loki just for information on Shanks. I can't even see if he really wants that information about Shanks. It's very in character for Luffy to shrug it off, since he's a whatever. If I need to know, I'll find out one way or another kind of guy. What I do know is if Luffy unchains Loki, it's not because he's being swindled. It's just because he wants to unchain Loki. Luffy has never worked on a deal system, and he never has. He gives back any kindness that has been given to him, but he's not going to do anything unless he likes someone. So if Loki gets unchained by Luffy, that's a Luffy choice. Loki may very quickly realize Luffy is not a regular person due to his earnest nature, but their back and forth is already giving me good vibes. My bias is I want these two to be friends. I want Luffy to run Loki in circles because Loki has never met a little freak like this before, similar to what Luffy did to Law. I'm already loving their dynamic, and I really want there to be more of it. Aside from Loki's weird little grins in this chapter, an interesting note is Luffy and Loki's similarities. They're definitely two sides of the same coin, from Loki's sun god title, to their befriending of beasts, to Loki not saying Luffy's name right, and even down to their color colors being somewhat inverted, as I said in my last chapter review. I'm not sure what Oda is going to do with this. Maybe Loki is going to be a Bizarro, Bad, and Luffy. Maybe Loki is a misguided Luffy. And Loki's connection with Shanks is interesting, considering he doesn't seem to like Shanks. If we go off Luffy and Loki being similar, maybe Loki also wanted to join Shanks' crew and was denied. It's probably not the case, but I feel Loki disliking Shanks has to be more than just, oh, he fought me once, so I can't wait to find out about that. I also really quickly need to add something of interest, and thank you to my Twitch chat for telling me this, but Loki uses the word coward against Shanks, and this exact same word is used by Buggy all the way back in chapter 1082. I'm not sure if there will be a connection there, but how interesting we now have two characters calling Shanks the exact same thing. So could Loki and Shanks' debacle be connected to the One Piece? Is it similar to how Buggy felt let down by Shanks? In short, Loki for Cross Guild. Also super interesting that Loki has these little human followers. Who are these guys? I don't know if they'll be relevant, but they sure stick out.
The Stink Men.
And aside from that, I have nothing else to say. This was a fantastic chapter. Loki is already shaping up to be a character I really like, and the dynamic between Luffy and Loki is feeling fun as it is. I'm really hoping Luffy and Loki become besties because I need it. With that being said, what do you think? I encourage any and all conversation in the comments. Just be nice to each other. We are civil in this book club. Please take note, I only read the officials, so these chapter videos will only coincide with the officials. If you'd like to see my chapter reactions in real time, you can join me on Twitch or my YouTube VOD channel. Please be aware they're a bit rambly because I get too excited about One Piece to collect myself in my live streams. Thank you, and bye.